They got it, his sensibility, the way he sees the world. And, it's not a Seinfeld-size audience, but, God, it's delicious.
Oh, it's a great show.
It's a slow-motion train wreck. It is Larry. And who doesn't want to slow down and stop and watch that?
Larry rewriting the show every week, and I can just see him saying, it can't be done again. until finally it can't be done again. He leaves.
When we went from a pilot of Seinfeld, and then the research was just disastrous. We didn't have Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the show yet, and it was kind of against all odds that we went forward. But I called up Jerry and said, I have 4 episodes. I have great news. We're going to make 4 more episodes. And Jerry was like, really? In the history of television, has anything ever worked with a 4-episode order? And I just said, Jerry, I don't know. And he said, okay, well, we'll do it. And then we put him on behind Cheers in the summertime, and it did okay. Not great, did okay. And then I called him up and said, we want to order 13 more. And Larry is there in the background going, say no, turn it down. I don't have any more ideas.
Wow.
And of course, that was the brilliance of that relationship. Jerry said, of course we'll do 13 more. Thank you. We're excited. And Larry is like, why would you do that? And Jerry said, well, that's our job. We'll find 13 more ideas.
And it's really interesting. At the end of Seinfeld, everybody at NBC is really obviously trying to keep Jerry once he made that decision. But I got the sense from the book that once Jerry made his decision, you were like, all right, let's figure out and let's move on. Like, there was no saving it. Do you feel
look, we went to Jerry and we put over $100 million on the table to him for another year. And as his manager said, Jerry, you didn't even let me negotiate. That was their opening offer.
Wow.
But we felt that, quite honestly, if he wasn't going to embrace that, then he wasn't going to do it. And what I tried to explain to people was, we had gotten a decade of Jerry's life where he had given us everything. And he wanted to kind of start a life. He wasn't in a relationship. He said, he looked at me and he said, you're married, you have children, you have a job, but you also have a life. I don't have a life yet. And so ultimately he made the right decision. He started a life, and he deserved that.
Moving on to ER, and this is the great thing about this book, there's so many great things to read about that are just completely unrelated. Steven Spielberg, what a great compliment, asked to direct ER, said, I keep watching it, and I just never see anything I could add, which, what a great thing to say. And also,
he shut me up, because I'm sitting there saying, Steven, Quentin Tarantino directed an episode, and I think I'm going to convince Steven Spielberg to direct an episode of ER. I know I can get him to do this, and he completely shut me up with that observation. He said, I'm just not sure what I could add.
And then when ER started, I remember that they just got off to such a smoking hot start, and for some of them, it's been a problem to this day. Like Juliana Margulies says, when I'm on a new show and somebody says, we got a 13, we're in the top 10, she's thinking, we used to do 40s on ER. What's the big deal about a 13? And Sherry Stringfield, is it? Mm-hmm. Sherry Stringfield? Yeah, she just freaked out and couldn't handle the massive success. And I think you mentioned that Eric LaSalle and Noah Wiley, they had trouble with it too. It is tricky to be that successful that fast, isn't it? It's hard on some people.
Lisa Kudrow was telling me one night it was they went over to Hollywood after they had been in rehearsal and finished up on stage at Warner Brothers where they were doing Friends, and they went to a destination, a small sound stage over in Hollywood, and they were doing a print shoot. I think it was actually for Rolling Stone, and they were there for a number of hours doing the layout and all that, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and they just walk out of this studio, and it is a blitzkrieg. It is a fireworks show of paparazzi, light bulbs, everything, and people screaming. And it was in that moment where they went, "Oh my God,
wow.
This is what it is." And they all just kind of ran to their cars and headed home. And it changes your life. I mean, there are a lot of benefits. It's exciting. It's wonderful. We certainly loved it at the network, but it does change your life where there's nothing you can do ever again in private.
You seem to really butt heads, and there's a lot of interesting stories about Don Ohlmeyer in there. Have you heard from him or heard what he thought about the book?
I haven't. I know he tried to get a hold of it before it was published. And I think NBC was better for the dynamic and the fight that existed within our corridors. It made me tough. It made me fight for the things I believed in. He wore me out at times. I don't seek out Don. It's okay that I no longer work with him. But the book has 50 voices, all the talent, the writers, the producers, the actors, who are all a part of Must-See TV. They tell the story, and so it's just not me dumping on my boss. At times he was an obstacle. So we just try and tell an honest, straight story, and more often than not, I think it's entertaining.
I couldn't understand how his friendship with O.J. Simpson was actually allowed to get in the way of a couple things, like Saturday Night Live with Norm Macdonald. How weird was that there's this guy, this incredibly powerful guy who you guys have to deal with and answer to, and he's the one guy who's behind O.J., and he's really upfront about it.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, we would be gathered at a staff meeting, and of course, Jay Leno was living off of his monologue, as well as everybody else in the world of late night. They were living off of the O.J. Simpson phenomena, and we're doing sketches on SNL. They are living off of this, and we had this bizarre kind of, we couldn't talk about the programming and the comedy that was on our network because the guy in the next room, those jokes were about his best friend who was in prison.
That's insane.
It was a strange, weird dynamic to be working under.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the story, and when it's all said and done, good programming came out of it all.
I wonder how much great comedy we didn't get to see because people were afraid of him, though, and wouldn't push the envelope, because SNL was doing some brilliant comedy about O.J. at the time. Absolutely. If Don were in this conversation right now, Don would say that he never, he knew, regardless of how he felt, and it was very public how he felt about O.J. He was there for him. He was in his corner. That he never inserted himself in the programming. That he would never dare try and tell Jay Leno to back off in any way, or SNL. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's actually true. Really?
We couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
What about Norm
Macdonald?
He would yell at us.
Yeah.
We got the impression from Norm that he was blown out over O.J.
Yeah.
I would say if there was any, censorship in any way, very, very minor. Most people just felt this was a chance of a lifetime. This was such a bizarre and tragic circumstance that it had to be illuminated, and that's what their job was. and it was kind of a renaissance time for SNL, and as we said, Jay exploded by highlighting the bizarre goings-on with that trial. I don't think there was a lot of editing, actually.
Are you tight with Jay?
Am I tight?
Yeah, with Leno.
I'm still I'm friendly. What was billed as Jay's last episode of The Tonight Show, I went to the taping of that, but of course that ended up not being Jay's last episode of The Tonight Show. So I celebrate him. I watch Jon Stewart on a regular basis. I was at Jimmy Kimmel's taping 2 days ago, and I was at Conan's 1 day ago. So
wow.
I watch a lot of late night.
I'm just wondering how much longer is Leno going to go? Is he going to do this till he dies?
I don't know about till he dies, but he actually still is number one in late night.
Yeah.
Even with Jimmy, challenging for 18 to 49, Jay is actually still number one in total audience and still has a narrow margin on 18 to 49. So it's popular to count Jay out. I think I learned a long time ago, never count Jay out.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, we saw that in the late shift.
Boy, he's a hard-working guy. Just there's no quit in him. That's right. The Top of the Rock, Inside the Rise and Fall of Must-See TV. Warren Littlefield, just a fantastic book. It's so much fun. We could talk about it all day. So when you got time, when you got all day, let us know.
You guys are the best. I really love talking to you. I really appreciate your support.
Thanks a million. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.